Welcome back. Welcome back. Yo, we got some crazy action from Saturday's card. We can talk about. First of all, let's just get into it. Welcome back, Ashy Knuckle fam. It's your host B Woods. As usual, I got my boy Mosey P in the crib.
What's up?
Marky G, what's up, player?
What's up?
Hell yeah, we kicking this new year off right, man. We got some previews to David and Goliath action. Got the big boys, Cyril Gane and defending his interim title versus the undisputed champ Francis Ngannou in the heavyweight division. And then we got a preview of the Davids of the division, the little guys. You know what I mean? The mighty mites. Got Davison Figgy going up against Brandon Moreno, and it should be good because I'm excited about both fights. We basically covered the whole career of Cyril Gane, his rise to the heavyweight title, and it's gonna be fun to see him go up against this. This is a big challenge. We also gonna do a little bit of a preview. So not a preview, but a review of Chikadze versus Kattar and a couple other fights on that card, plus a little bit of extra MMA chit chat as usual. But we can kick it right off. Yo, did you get to watch any of that card yesterday, Saturday, Mo?
Yeah, I caught the main event, but beforehand I was watching Cincinnati play Las Vegas in the playoffs.
Playoffs.
But from what I've seen, legendary number 9 quarterback is in the making.
Louisiana.
Yep. But yeah, Kattar and Chikadze how is the first main event of the year almost fight of the year?
Apparently, like, whenever you get your ass whooped by Max Holloway, you turn into Superman. Like, that's just like the next fight for you. You upgrade because Kattar and Max had that crazy war where it wasn't really a war. It was mostly just like a battle of Max battling Kattar's face and pointing to DC and telling him he's the best boxer in the UFC. We all remember that clip. And Kattar took that personally, bro. Like, he went back in the lab and god damn, he looked good. He looked good against Chikadze. That whole like strategy of crowd the kicker, heavy pressure, box his head off. Kattar put on a masterclass, bro.
Was the score 50-45?
Yes.
I thought it was
50,
like 49-46.
I agree. I thought Chikadze got at least one round.
I got the first, and then after that, it was all cater.
I really had it all Kattar. Like, I didn't have Chikadze winning a round. He had some close.
The first round was close. Yeah,
Close. I leaned towards Giga in that one, but that second round was nuts. And then from there on out, it was all Calvin.
Yeah, Calvin. He for me, like, it was like he gave all the pressure. He was coming forward, chasing him down, which is like, Chikadze's dangerous. And going into this, I had Giga Chikadze winning like by a landslide. I thought he was going to dominate the fight. I didn't expect to see, because like I thought he would just kick the shit out of Calvin and keep him at range. But Calvin was having none of that shit.
Was he the hype train though?
I don't know. I think he's legit. I think he's
I thought he was more of a legit guy than a hype train.
I didn't think so. I didn't think he was a hype train. I thought he was. I still don't think that. I feel like Kattar just was on. Like, he's he showed that like promise that he had. Like, leading up to the Max fight, he was the guy, like the next big thing. And I think he's still that. I don't think that changed much. I just feel like Max is on a world championship level, and until you fight a guy like that, you don't even know where you are. And that was Calvin's biggest test. And obviously, Max got the better of him, but I still think Calvin's a contender.
They're all still contenders, though.
Yeah.
Giga's still a contender. He's
absolutely.
still right up there. He learned what the top level is. That's what he learned in that fight. They always say that there's levels to this game, and he just learned what level is above him, and now he knows what his biggest weakness is. You said it earlier, that constant pressure and keep him from kicking. His greatest weapon is his kicks. If he can't kick because you're too close, this is what happens. He does have good hands, though. I will say that. He has good boxing, too. Just Kattar was on another level in boxing.
Yeah, I would say Giga's boxing is solid. But his strength definitely lies in his kicking game. And he wasn't able to get really outside of the first round, he wasn't really able to get him off because Calvin was always right on top. Like he would just angle him off, keep heavy pressure, and then unload combinations. Like he was throwing everything, elbows, crisp jabs, body shots. Like he was just coming after him, and then just like wash, rinse, repeat. Like he would do it. Chikadze would get out of there, and he would just chase him back down, angle him off, pop that jab, get in close, tight, elbow. Like I was like, damn. And then he would engage in grappling, even though he wasn't, able to like keep him down. But it was constant pressure, constantly keeping him on his back foot.
So, what do you guys think is next for Calvin?
Calvin?
Well,
I say loser of Zombie and Volkanovski. That's who I say.
Title shot?
I said loser of. Not title
loser.
shot.
Oh, loser. Oh, okay. So he's getting like, well, we think Volk doesn't get a rematch if he happens to get upset.
I think he deserves one, but I don't know how the UFC wants to do it.
They'll most likely do it unless Zombie just straight up starches him. Which is probably the way that I would assume the Zombie would win that fight. Is just like an old school like Campman fight.
Hits him straight down the middle with something.
Straight down the middle across the cage, yeah.
Sleeps him.
Mm-hmm.
You never know, he could pull off another twister.
That would be amazing. I would love to see that again. I'd also like to see who's better at the twister. Let's get him against Bryce Mitchell.
Hey, that's to do with the camo pants, right?
Right.
You know he's a rapper?
Yes.
I did not know that. Thug Nasty?
Him and... Who's the one that was on this card that's also a rapper?
There's another rapper?
Kelleher. Brian Kelleher, I think, also raps.
Do they got bars? Or are they just stringing together words that rhyme?
I know they rap. I don't know their songs.
I didn't know he was a rapper till I heard about it recently.
I heard about it on this card.
Wait, I like Calvin against... If they had to pick a fight tomorrow, I wouldn't mind seeing Yair and Calvin fight. Yair Rodriguez and him, good fight.
I like that. You know what? I was trying to look back and see if Calvin's ever fought Ortega. And I wouldn't mind that either. I don't
think they have.
I would lean towards Ortega if that fight happened. Just because I think he's going to end up taking him down and then getting a choke.
I don't know. Ortega tends to stick with his boxing and his stand-up game until he gets in trouble.
Well, he going to be in trouble. Just because he knocked out a zombie don't mean, you know what I'm saying? It don't mean like he got hands.
Right.
He got power, that's for sure.
He got
Yeah.
technique.
He got
I
technique,
mean,
but this is different. This is different.
Right.
Like levels. There's definitely levels.
Levels.
He did take that Maxwell Holloway boxing 101 with Calvin.
Yes, he did. He is also Superman after his first fight, or after his fight back with Holloway.
Yeah, like I said, they took 101. They scored A plus, 2 A pluses.
You know, the surprising thing about that is normally when you see a beating like both of those guys take, they usually don't come back better for it. They usually go like the JDS route and just slowly fade out after.
Well, they got
So,
tape
good
on
on
what to
both
fix,
of them.
though. That was the thing. They both got tape on
Yeah.
what they needed to fix. So they probably watched the tape 100 times or something, and then be like, okay, now I know what happened.
They're both younger, too. Like on the younger side.
That's true.
So look, I would like to see that. I mean, whatever it may be, I think he's obviously going to rise up in the rankings now. But Calvin looked crisp, he looked sharp. So, and he can tell he has. I'm not sure if it was a result. I mean, his wrestling looked good, his grappling looked really good, and I don't know if it's because Giga's more of a kickboxer as opposed to like has an overall strong game, but Calvin looked good in engaging in grappling. Even though Chikadze was able to fight off a lot of the grappling exchanges, I feel like he might be leveling up here. So this might be a contender in the making, and that division obviously loaded with talent. You know what I mean? Like the top five. Like we always say this, but I feel like everybody in that top five could hold that belt legitimately. Like they have a legitimate shot at holding that belt. Can't really say that about the next fight we're going to discuss, but there was another fight on this card. The ladies got into it. We had Caitlin Chukagze taking on, is that Jennifer Maya?
Yes.
I'm gonna be honest, ladies. I got distracted on that one. After like round one, I started looking at my phone, and I couldn't. Did you follow the action and see like the? Could you describe that fight? Because I couldn't.
The fight was basically just a standard Chikadze fight. She was looking a little sloppy during the fight. She basically just pressured and point fighted the whole time. She did try a couple new things, so she looked a little sloppy during it at certain points, but that says a lot because she was willing to take those risks trying these new things, almost as it was just like a sparring session for her, is pretty much how that fight went. So, standard domination by Chukagze. Nothing spectacular happened during it, but she just showed why she is constantly number 2 in this division.
Yeah, I mean, Shevchenko's running out of opponents. A lot of the fights that she can have is going to be rematches. So I feel like that's where Chikadze stands. Like she's basically, what she's like 1B in the division. So I'm excited for it, but like I'm excited for her getting the victory, and I like the call out.
Yeah,
I like her going up against like calling out Misha Tate. I like that. It's just hard to get excited at this moment for a potential matchup versus the champ because Valentina is just so dominant. And while as a fan of Valentina's, I like seeing her just kick every girl's ass. Personally, like I'm a fan, so like put her up against whoever and knock them down. Like I love it.
Yeah, I agree. She's in a tough situation, but not at the same time. Normally, this would be a hard fight to make, but like you said, Shevchenko really doesn't have any options. The only options she has are outside of her division. Her best hope can be Misha Tate moving down, fight somebody like Andrade or Chikadze, beating them, and then going for a title shot. That would be her biggest fight in her own division. Other than that, she needs to fight Pena or Amanda Nunes.
Mm-hmm. I like the Pena matchup a lot, and we set up that scenario a few episodes ago. We were talking about the what if, what if she were to defeat Juliana Pena and get that belt, and then somehow fight Amanda Nunes for the third time and take her 55-pound strap. She would be a triple champ. That would be pretty fucking dope. Coming from a fan, I'm a huge fan of Amanda Nunes. This change of weather's kicking my ass. I know it sounds like
45-pound.
Wait, she's 45 and 35, right?
Yeah, they don't have a 55.
You know what I was thinking, bro? My mind was going to Kayla Harrison.
Yeah. She's notorious for 155.
Right. Now I was thinking of Kayla Harrison. Because my mind automatically linked Kayla and Amanda, and that's where I had that. But yeah, for Valentina, taking the 35 strap from Juliana Pena, which I think I feel like she would be a favorite in that fight.
I mean, she already got some victory over her, so
yeah. It's so weird. Like, we go back and forth with the math, the MMA math, and I pretty much look at it as like individuals. Like every matchup is where it stands. But I thought going in, like I think we said that too. Like going into that fight, that we all were like, okay, Juliana is a live dog versus Amanda Nunes.
She was.
And I really felt that. I wasn't just saying that because like there's a good betting odds and you can get a little bang for your buck. But I felt like she can really pose some problems for Amanda. And obviously Amanda kind of looked like she had an off night. She didn't look like the Amanda that we're used to, but that's kind of what you get when you get a loss from when you have a dominant champion. They have to have like a night where they're just not on, and that's the beauty of MMA to me. Is any night could be some other fighter, some fighter's night. Like it's not a guarantee of shoe in just because you can't just show up and have a name and then win. Like you got to bring it, and then every night, some people rise to the occasion, and some people crumble to the moment. And I know a lot of people feel like Amanda crumbled to the moment, but I think it was more Juliana just rising to the occasion. Like she took that fight. She took it to Amanda. And like I said, Amanda didn't look good, but it was because of what Juliana was doing. In my opinion, her striking didn't look pretty, but she was going after it.
It was.
You gotta give her some respect for that. She earned it. But I don't see her fight against Shevchenko going so good at all. I think we're gonna get a highlight reel. Like there's levels to striking.
My unpopular opinion is the pound for pound king is Shevchenko versus Amanda Nunes, because I think she's actually the better fighter all around. But Amanda Nunes always just had that little bit of a weight and size advantage over her, so she took full advantage.
Mm-hmm. As she should. You should.
She should. Yes.
Yeah, you should use the gifts the gods give you. You know what I mean? Like, and we're gonna talk about this later, but I feel the same way about Francis versus Cyril. Like, I think Cyril's by far a better pure technician when it comes to striking. Like, it's not to me, it's not even close. Like his footwork's better. He's a more crisp striker. But Francis is just a force of nature. Like he's just, a physical freak. And like normally, I go with the better technician in these situations.
So you guys want to go into that, or you want to talk about the little guys first?
Well, how about this? I do want to give a little bit before we move on from Saturday's card. I do want to give a shout out to a couple lightweights to open the card. They opened the card with the first knockout of the night, and Slava Claus might be a little name to look out for in the 155-pound division. He went up against, what was this, Bush? What was his name again? Look back at this. It was I can't remember. I know his last name is Bush, but he what's his name? Is that I want to say Borishev is his last name, and forgive me for this one. I'm gonna give it a shot. Vishayaslav. I tried. I gave it all I got. But homie's on a 4-fight win streak. He made his UFC debut in his past fight card on Saturday, and man, he landed a Jose Aldo, Jeremy Stevens combo, like the left hook, right hook, left hook to the body, left hook crumpled Bush. It was a beautiful KO, and then he did the little Russian like wedding dance, when they kick their legs out, but they, you know what I mean. I was like, oh shit, okay, saucy, all right. But that was watching that fight, I was like, okay, there might be a contender on the rock. Might be a new guy to look out for at 55 because he's a legit kickboxer, and he showed an ability to stuff takedowns. So debut though, UFC debut, and there is levels to this shit.
Definitely one to keep an eye on for the future.
Are we officially in the era of the Eastern European takeover? Because I feel like every division now we got some guys from that side of the world. They coming in, they showing out, bro. Like you know how the Brazilians was doing it big back in the early '90s. I feel like Russia's starting to like flex on us, bro.
They're doing a better job than the Irish takeover.
We had Arlovsky back in the day, though.
Yeah, but I mean, like at every level now. Like you see, like you remember at one point it was like every level it was a Brazilian contender at every weight class. It's starting to be like the Eastern European side of the world. There's like a contender or a champion at least at every level. I mean, heavyweights obviously that's not true, but a lot of contenders come from that side of the planet. Yeah. It's a beautiful thing to watch. Beautiful thing to watch.
Yeah.
They all got that same style too, for the most part.
Well,
except general, this guy's a kickboxer.
The Europeans in general, they're coming up. If you think about it.
Well, Chikadze's from Georgia, and that's a part of the old Soviet states, right?
It's not where Atlanta is at. That
much. Not right up north?
Nah, it's not a few miles away.
Yeah, that way.
It's definitely across some oceans.
Well, so Chikadze's from that side of the world. We know Khabib's Dagestani. Zabit, he came and kind of did a little dance, made a little love, and then dipped. But he's from that area too.
Makachev, Peter Yan.
Yeah, Peter Yan, Islam Makachev.
Askarov.
Devashali, Mirab. He's Georgian as well. So yes, they're coming up, man. Like and for a while, like you say, it was just basically Americans and it was just Americans and
What about Yuri? Where's he from?
Prohashka. Yep,
Prohaska?
yep, he's from Eastern Europe.
And
Eastern
Oh, I
Europe.
thought it was Polish.
Rakic and Projaka?
Yep. And then if you go to Bellator, they're a champion.
What is Czechia? Czechia.
Chechnya.
Okay, yeah, that.
That's all. That's all Eastern Europe.
Okay.
Well, and if you count Poland in that too, you got obviously Joanna.
Jan.
Jan Blachowicz. There's a surge, man. Like this last 10 years, there's been a surge.
Serbia. Where's Serbia at exactly?
Exactly. I mean, so pretty much anything east of Germany, they were all, to me, there's like a lot of east, like former Soviet states.
Yeah.
They used to be part of the Soviet Union, a lot of them. And that's in that area. So you got I believe Serbia is south though, like southeast.
Okay. Well, yeah. There's a lot of contenders coming out from not the UK or France or Germany, but the rest of Europe.
Yeah, that's like UK, France, Germany, Spain, Italy. That's all Western
Stallion.
Yeah, that's all. Like Marvin Vittori is like he's Western European. That's like more of we've seen I think England's kind of always been in it. They've always had contenders. They've always had fighters come out there. But wait, is it? Correct me if I'm wrong, but is it Cyril Gane from France?
He is French.
Okay, so we had and then we've had Western Europeans before as champion. Maybe not in UFC, but we all know the legend of Uberim, and he's Western Europe. So
Was he Dutch?
Yeah. So Western Europeans have always kind of been in the game, but not as the Brazilians and Americans for the longest time were the champions. That's where you're getting the champions usually. It was the Brazilians or our Americans, and it's still that way. But the Eastern Europeans are coming through, bro. Like they're showing up.
I was talking to good old Gabe, and I was telling him, look, man, there's barely any American champions. And he had to remind me that Aljamain was the champion, and then I was like, man, he don't count.
I don't know. He does. To me, I mean,
on paper, he's the champion. But
he earned the right to beat. He beat Sandhagen. Like that was legit, and he earned the right to get to the title. Yeah. So it's not like he fluked his way into it. Now he fluked his way to keep it because he was getting his ass whooped by Peter Yan. So to keep the belt or retain, to change it, because wasn't Yan the champion?
Peter,
yeah.
So to take the belt off of him, that was he got it from a DQ, but it's not like he's trash.
No.
He's legitimate, like as far as the contenders is concerned. But I think we kind of all agree that Peter Yan's the guy.
Yes. In
that division, he's the guy. He's the man to beat.
But then we do have another American champion, and his name is Glover Teixeira.
But Glover's Brazilian, right?
Not no more.
Brazilian.
Well, I think he's an American citizen, but he's definitely Brazilian.
He's American now.
He's American.
Is he dual citizen though?
He was waving the flag and everything. He's American now.
Yeah, that man's Texas all around.
He earned it. So we got one real one.
Our last legitimate champions that were American was Woodley, Tyron Woodley, Jones. Let me think. Like actual Americans.
Holloway.
Well, Max is. Well, come on, he's from Hawaii, bro. That's like.
Hey man, it's number 50. It's a state.
That's barely American.
It's a state, bro.
But I give.
We gotta keep spam American.
Well, so Max.
We do have Rose though. That's the champ that I feel.
There you go. See, we got some Americans. We got some good Americans.
We had Stipe.
Stipe will get it back.
That's a stretch, dog.
I mean, yeah, he wore the Crow Cop shorts and all, but still.
He does rep Ohio, but come on, man.
He's a firefighter.
If we're gonna count that, then we gotta say like Kamaru Usman's American, if that's the case.
Oh yeah,
Kamaru Usman is American.
He went to school, right, bro. Right. He got an education. Yeah. He American.
So that's
let's be honest. At least Kamaru was born in a different country. Stipe was born here.
Yeah, but Stipe is like he can barely speak English, dog.
Well, he can't speak nothing else but that.
He just mumbles.
Peter Griffin.
he took mumble rapping way too seriously that he lives the lifestyle of it.
That man's a fan. Let's see. I'm really trying to think here, Stretch, because I'm thinking of all the greats, and I'm going back through all people who had long title runs.
You going with American or Brazilian?
I gotta go back to it's either America or Brazil for long runs. I mean, GSP's an anomaly. He's Canadian, and GSP he had a long run.
He's from North America.
That's fair. We can claim him.
Brazilians from South America. We got them all.
They all us.
We got them all.
Got them all.
You know what? So if we want to just claim all of the continent of America,
Moreno is from Mexico, Central America. We got it.
So America, we can keep it in America.
We got all the titles.
I mean, we had Chael Sonnen. He's still undefeated.
Oh my god! Don't get me started with this guy. He did get he went 5-0 on one night, right?
One night. That was a hell of a tournament.
Man, hey, look, I know we joke a lot about stuff that happens outside the cage, and I like Chael, so I'll say this: like, normally I go to bat for guys who get into some bullshit outside the cage because, like, I remember I think early on we talked about what happened with Joe Schilling when he pieced up that drunk guy in a bar. Like, there was some drunk guy like ended up like whatever, and he knocked him out. And I'm not like a fan of trained fighters piecing up like civilians. I'm not a fan of that. However, like, you can't just disrespect people and think it's gonna be okay. Like, it's like, even though I think these guys become targets in a way because people try to prove themselves against them. Because like this guy was like talking shit to Chael's wife apparently, and like, you know, just being overly disrespectful. So I feel like that's just justified, bro. Like, you poke the bear, you get the paws.
Correct. And that's why he's technically 6-0 for that night, because he fought the law and he won that one too.
Oh yeah, yeah. I feel like anybody within reason, if they saw, like, if they got the whole story and that's what happened, because there's always two sides, right? But if what was stated happened, then yes, come on, dog. He did what he had to do. Like, you should defend your wife. You should defend your family. That's legit.
Yeah, I agree. And the Joe Schilling situation was close to the same, too. He was saying some derogatory marks and some stuff towards him and his girl. So I feel the same way about that. It's not like a Conor situation of a guy disrespected his whiskey and he punched him in the back of the head. You know?
Or Mike Perry and the old guy at the club.
Oh, wait.
Yeah.
Speaking of Mike Perry, you know who he's fighting in what's that junk called? That it's not open. Bare knuckle boxing. They got an event coming up. It's called Knuckle Mania.
Julian?
Yeah, Let Me Bang,
Julian?
bro. He's fighting Let Me Bang, bro.
I figured that was gonna happen.
I want to watch it. Did you see their little scuffle they had at like some other fight?
Oh, that whole thing was staged. Julian staged that whole thing by himself.
Didn't it look like they were at like some WWE event and they just started fighting in the crowd? That's what it looked like, right? That's what it looked like. They hitting each other with forearms. Come on, man.
Like, I think that shit was staged just to hype up the fight. Because it was literally like, that shit happened, and not even 2 days later, they're like, by the way, these two are fighting.
You know, Chad Mendes is also fighting on Knuckle Mania.
Yes, and I'm sad about it. Because I still think that Chad may not be champion, but still can compete in the UFC.
You think he'd do better if he dropped down to like bantamweight, or you think he's too big?
No, I think he could 100% drop down to bantamweight. If he just, laid off on the iron a little bit, stop eating so much fucking elk, and he could just drop down to 135, and I think he could be great there. But I think he can handle featherweight also, if he actually committed to it. I do think that he does have so many, or like his 3 businesses that he has going on: his hunting business, his meal prep business, and I think his supplement business.
I thought he had a fishing
Those are
one.
distracting him a lot.
His hunting one's fishing too, right?
I think fishing is Clay Guida.
I thought he had like a hunting and fishing. It was like it had a ring to it that it made sense.
Oh, and he might have both of those too. Because I know he takes people on excursions and shit to go do that shit.
That's what it was.
Yeah.
It was hunting and fishing. Well, either way, he'd be a good addition to bring back, but it's probably he chose not to do that. Probably doesn't want to get tested or anything either. He probably doesn't have to like worry about the USADA pool.
Well, no, he was very honest about it when he was on Food Truck Diaries talking about it. I think it was Food Truck Diaries that he was on.
Was it like some cream for pain or something? Or his skin?
Well, not just it was
what was it? He had
what
is it called? Eczema. His eczema, and he was using some cream on it, and it had something bad
psoriasis.
on there. Okay.
It was psoriasis. Yeah, and he had to put some cream on it, which was a steroid cream. So he got flagged for that. But I mean, when he was on Food Truck Diaries talking about his bare knuckles boxing debut, he said that he was still under contract with the UFC, but they let him. They approved him not fighting on in the UFC because he didn't want. He said he had the itch to fight, but he wasn't trying to be champion or anything. So he just wants to get a fight in. That's all he wants. So it makes sense.
And Chad looked good. I saw some training video of him. And he looked sharp. So I'm being pretty excited for that.
I have no idea who the guy is that he's fighting. They announced it, but I don't know who he is. I'll watch it though.
Yeah, I'll check it. I'm down to check it out.
Are they on the same card?
I think it's Knucklemania 2. Knucklemania. Knucklemania.
The Knuckle Bowl.
But yeah, let's get into this flyweight title bout coming up.
Oh yeah, Mr. Figgy hitting it up with Brandon Moreno one more time, running back. Look, I'm mixed, man, because like
Same.
at first I was like on the Moreno hype train and thinking like he's gonna beat and still. Right now, bro, I think Figgy wants it, man. I'm taking Figueroa or Figueredo or whatever. Yeah, I'm taking I think he's gonna be able to take his belt back. I think we might witness a pretty good war, but I got Figgy winning it. I think it's gonna be and new.
I'm just gonna watch as a fan. I can't make no picks because I'm like you. I'm leaning both ways. Like it's hard for me to pick one.
It is difficult. I'm gonna give it to Moreno just because I feel like Moreno's more of a tactician, game plan wise. Like game plan wise, I think Moreno and his fight IQ's just a bit more there. So I'm gonna give it to Moreno. But this is just gonna be a barn burner like the last two.
He's been through the fire. You know what I mean? Like he went from, starting in the UFC early. He had some ups and downs. Got cut. Came back. Rose back to the the title spot. Got the title, and look, I have a lot of respect for his skills. But I think this when I watch Figgy's title run, he was just like mowing through everybody, which is pure horsepower. And he kind of saved the division, if you think about it, because for a while that division was on decline, and he's so exciting to watch. Like he's the kind of guy, just like I said, he just comes straight forward like a Terminator and just hunts everybody down, and that's fun to watch for an average fan. And you may be right, like the tactical ability, of Marino can get it done. I think the average fan just loves to see the highlight reel stuff. You know what I mean? Like the guy that can just walk through, knock you off with one punch, or batter his opponent to submission. And while I do have, like I said, I have a lot of respect for Marino's skill set, I think losing decisively could be the best thing to happen to Figueroa. Figueroa, whatever. I'm just gonna call him Figgy. I cannot say his fucking last name for the life of me. Can't. I don't know why. My tongue won't do it.
Roll the Mars.
For real, like I got my Figueroa. My tongue won't let me do it, but I think losing for him might have helped and help him get back to like decisively losing, because technically speaking, he could have lost the first one. You know what I mean?
Well, he would have won because he got the point taken away from him, and it turned into a draw.
Right.
Yeah.
But he could have. I'm saying like having a draw as opposed to getting beat. Like he got beat in the second fight. That's a wake up call, and we just saw what Max did with Kattar. Kattar getting that, like, he got decisively beaten. And they can go two ways. I mean, you can obviously go into the dumps and end up going on a losing streak from there. But oftentimes, what you see, especially with guys of that caliber, it inspires them to get better. Because when you get beat like that, it's undeniable, dog. Like, you got your ass whooped. So now it's like, now what? You go back to the drawing board and you just start patching up those holes and sharpening your tools. And I think one thing that happened with Kattar was he was just headhunting and trying to knock everybody out instead of like piecing this stuff together and letting the knockout come. And I feel like Figueroa, when Figgy's in the same mode where he was just mowing through everybody, and then now he has to see, like, okay, I can't just do that. I have to sharpen my tools, be more like tactical about this, and obviously he knows what's ahead in front of him with Marino. Like, he's not going to be able to just walk through him. So I'm excited. I think it's going to be a beautiful one. I think this could be an early like fight of the year contending type deal. Another one, because I don't think either one of these guys are capable of putting on a boring show.
No. They got too much output. They're good.
Yeah.
Like,
that's why I don't understand. Why I don't understand why the flyweight division wasn't more interesting to most people before. If you want to see the most technical and high output fighting / grappling, period, the flyweight division is where it's at. Like, they got all the speed and all the technique because that's all they got. There's very few of them, huh?
It was the power. They wanted to see knockouts.
Yeah,
you know what the casuals want to see. We gotta give them what they want.
Yeah, that's true.
That's why.
Well, it would have been great if Cody could actually stay down there, but
that's why
he's the one getting knocked out.
You got the lower weight guys that put on that technical magic, and then you move on to the next fight after that. You got the heavyweights, where one hit and it's lights out for anybody in the division, really.
It's a slugfest.
And the main dude, the champion, is like, if he touches you, it's a wrap.
Yeah. Francis is literally the Deontay Wilder of the UFC.
Whenever you guys ready to go into that one, let me know.
I will
still talk about the flyweight title.
I will give this little nugget, and I mean, we said this already about the division almost dying, but I think it's kind of like when you look at the lower weight classes in boxing, fans kind of get a little numb to it because they don't care about the nuance. They don't care about the technical skills as much. They just, like you said, they want to see slugfest. They want to see two guys just trading it out. And I think it's harder to have that at the lighter weights because they're so technically good. Like they're so fast. Most of the time these guys rarely run into like stamina issues or anything like that. So you get the output's high, the fight IQ is usually pretty high, and the skill level as pure mixed martial arts is usually at a higher caliber. Because for the longest time, we all kind of agreed that Mighty Mouse was like pound for pound the best like pure expression of mixed martial arts that we've seen. Because he can put all the stuff together, and he's a tiny person compared to the rest of mixed martial arts. Like these guys are like 120 pounds, but I think that's more the thing. Like I think the casual fan can look at a guy like that and be like, I can kick his ass. Like if you're 200, if you're a regular dude, you're 220 pounds, and you see some dude that's 120, you're like, I mean, yeah, he's good, but I can kick his ass. You know what I mean? Even though it's not real. It's not real. That guy's gonna fuck you up. It's not real, but in their mind, they think, "Oh, I can take him.
I got him."
Yeah. I think that's the reason why that division isn't as popular because the average fan who's watching it with a fucking tap out shirt thinks, "Oh, I can kick this. I can kick his ass. I can take him." Like I'm like, probably not. But when you see a guy like Francis, to segue over, that ain't happening. I don't give a fuck how big you are. You like, oh shit, like this guy can erase me with one punch. And I think that's why the heavyweight division is so exciting because they're undeniable. When you're the fucking heavyweight champ, you are the baddest dude on the planet in most people's eyes.
Right.
Like the average fan, even if he's drunk, ain't sitting there like, I can take him. You like, nah, he probably kicked my ass.
Well, it depends how big the drunk dude is.
Nah,
he might believe in himself.
He might, but it's like
he'd be like, I'll duck all his punches.
Well, that delusion is stronger if they think they have an edge. You know what I mean? Like if he's looking at a guy like, like I said, a guy like Mighty Mouse who's like 5'2" or some shit, he can feel good about that. Like I'm bigger than him. I can just sit on him. As opposed to like Francis, he's like, hey, I can't just have my way. You know what I mean? But that's a fight, bro. That's the one that's like, and it's the same one as the Figgy versus Moreno, where it's like I can for sure see a path to victory for both guys. I see a path to victory easily for Cyril Gane. I mean, he can stay on the outside, point fight, never get hit, dodge all that windmill shit, and just fucking piece Francis up. I can legit see it being like similar to the Derek Lewis fight, where he just like pieces him up and goes flawless victory.
Will we see the Francis that fought Stipe or the Francis that fought Jairzinho?
Because what do you think, Mark? I want you to. What do you think?
So this is going off of basically just outside situations going into this fight for Francis. I say we get a Francis that's just straight up headhunting. I think he's just going to wing every power shot he can because he's going to want to make a huge statement with this fight. I see him just swinging wildly, personally.
I don't really see Francis winning the technical striking battle, like at all. Like I know a lot of people feel like tactical Francis was the best way for him to beat Stipe, and I agree with that. Like him throwing leg kicks, jabbing, keeping the distance, and then showing his improved ability in the wrestling department. That was his path to victory versus Stipe. Because if you remember the first fight with Stipe, he was a wild man, and Stipe basically just took him down at will and was able to hold him down and grind down a decision. Even though Stipe he punished him, Francis showed that he can take a fucking beating because Stipe spanked that ass. all point.
Yeah.
I mean, like that was dominating, and the residual from that fight leaked over into the fight with Derek Lewis. That fight, he was gun shy as shit. He wasn't at all trying to engage and be wild against Derek Lewis. I guess because that fear of what happened to him with Stipe. You know what I mean? He still had that Stipe in his mind, that same beating. So I feel like he's young in the fight game. So
both of them are
right. And they both don't have a lot of experience, even though they're both championship caliber fighters. I mean, what? Don has like 11 fights,
something like that, 11 or 12.
You know what I mean? And then how many does Francis have? 15, if that.
Cyril has 10.
10, yeah,
and
10 fights.
And Francis got 19 total.
Okay, so 19. Yeah. They have a combined. They have 29 fights combined. Like that's.
Well, I think Cyril had some kickboxing, but it wasn't many.
That's what I was about to say.
But it still was. It was like what, 4 or 5?
Something like that. Maybe 3. It wasn't a lot.
So that's why I draw this thing like
9.
9. Even if he had, let's just say he had 10, right? Let's say he had 10 fights, kickboxing, 10 mixed martial arts fights. That's still not a lot of experience. And both guys are getting better. That's what I was trying to get to. Is Cyril's getting better. Like every fight, he's looked improved in the UFC, and we've seen Francis face adversity already. We haven't seen Cyril face adversity.
13 kickboxing matches, 9 knockouts.
Yeah, I was just trying to find that.
Well, like I said,
that's actually a decent kickboxing career.
Undefeated.
How many fights?
13.
That's kind of small. That's a small sample because like there's guys like, I mean, look at Biggie Boys. His kickboxing career. What, he has like 40 kickboxing fights.
Then is he have like 100?
That's like when you talk about kickboxing, you can rack up a lot of fights.
Well, I'm just talking about for Cyril's age, having that many kickboxing fights and then transferring over to MMA. That's substantial. That's decent.
I mean,
he's still new at both.
Not because he was. If you compare them to even other heavyweights, guys like Overeem has way more. Guys like even like Biggie Boy, the guy he beat, he has more. He has a lot more. I'm just saying I'm not saying that you have like experience is a must-have thing, but it does matter, and he doesn't have a lot of it. But the reason why I brought that up is because experience is a great teacher, and we've seen Francis have adversity or face adversity. He ran into a wall, but he was running through everybody, like knocking everybody out early in the first round, just KOing everybody, and then he ran into Stipe, and he couldn't do that. He couldn't impose his will on Stipe. And he was then after that he lost he had the Derek Lewis fight, which was trash, and he had to face adversity. He had to really look himself in the mirror and evolve, and he did. Because he was back to his old self in the Biggie Boy fight where he just windmilled him to sleep within seconds. But then against Stipe, he adapted and was able to be a tactician and knock Stipe out. So that's why I'm leaning toward Francis in this fight. And that's because I've seen him face adversity and come back from it. I haven't seen Cyril face any adversity. Everything's gone his way so far in his career. And look, he could be an anomaly where he can be a guy where he never faces adversity. He might be just that damn good, where he gets in there against everybody, whoever he is, and this is another victory. I mean, we've seen it. Jones was able to do it for most of his career. Like he faced adversity and overcame it, but he was able to beat everybody he lined up against. And maybe that's the case for Cyril, but I'm taking Francis in this because, like I said, normally I take the tactician in these kind of fights, but this is heavyweight, and one punch could really put anybody down. And Francis has that in spades. That's his ace in the hole. He got that God given, like I was born to knock motherfuckers out. And look, until proven otherwise, I'm taking Francis.
He's got a lot to prove because he's not fighting on the same contract or whatever they're talking about. He wants more money, so he's gonna try to prove a
Money,
point.
I don't think. The money, I don't think, is the big stopper in that whole contract dispute. But that's what I was trying to say. Outside situations with the contract and him trying to box also, he's going to want to make a statement with this fight. And personally, I don't think he's mature enough as a fighter to try to make a statement as a well-rounded skill set and domination type. I think he's just going to go out there and try to knock his head off, which is where I think Gon can start to take over the fight, because if he can use that footwork that we know he has and just kind of stay on the outside and piece him up, we can get a good decision win out of him. But Gon, or Ngannou, if he hits him, it's going to be over. But I just think that Francis is going to come into this with too much on his shoulders and kind of crumble under the weight.
Hey, has any other like UFC champion ever fought out their contract without having a new one? Like next?
You know, I really feel like, isn't it like a clause where if they win the belt, it extends it somehow?
I don't know, but
Yes.
he's on his last fight, supposedly.
So, if he wins this fight, him as champion, he since his contract's up, he's required to fight at least one more time under the contract, or within a year or something like that. So he might sit out for a year. He can sit out for a year and then not fight under the contract anymore.
Damn.
But the thing is, with the contract dispute that they're having, he wants to have boxing on his contract too, which is where I think the problem is. They want him, or he wants to be able to switch back and forth between defending the UFC title and going to boxing. But to be honest, that's why everything's on his shoulders right now. If he loses this fight, not only does he fuck himself in the contract, he also kills any fight with Tyson Fury like he's trying to get. In
You
my
think so?
head.
Wait, how would it kill that fight with Tyson Fury?
Because if you can't even beat a tactician in MMA, you think you're going to go over to boxing and beat him when Deontay Wilder couldn't?
Well, it's like, I don't think it's going to matter because it's a different sport entirely. So it's like, yeah, you might lose a little bit of luster if he's not champion, but at the same time, he's still a big enough name, and that's pretty much all you need for marketing. You know
I
what
don't think Francis is that big of a name, though.
Well, he's
Like, he's
name.
a big name, but
In the
not
MMA
that
world.
big of a name.
Well, he's
Yeah, in the MMA world.
Well, think about it this way: Tyron wasn't a big name either. Like Tyron's a like in the world of sports, not really. I mean, Conor was a much bigger name, and he had a much higher profile fight going up against Floyd. So he's one of the biggest guys in MMA going against the pay-per-view king in Floyd Mayweather. But Tyron, like most average boxing fans don't even know who he is at all. Like in the grand scheme, but if you ask the average boxing fan, they might know a little bit about about Francis Ngannou because he is a heavyweight champion. There's like a certain stigma about being the heavyweight champ. Whereas like, even though the skill set doesn't translate, he's still a big scary guy. Like he has a lot of knockouts, you know what I mean? And if you put him in boxing gloves and like just say, okay, well, knock this guy out. To the average fan, that's an easy translation, even though most boxing purists and people who follow the sport know that he's drawing dead. Tyson's he only has a puncher's chance in that fight. And Tyson's going to box his head off.
Let's be honest, though. Like, you wanted to use Woodley as an example, but Woodley couldn't sell pay-per-views in his own sport. He was not the reason why those pay-per-views sold.
Right. I was saying that Woodley not known. He's not very known. Like, I mean, I was saying that you don't know who he is at all. The only reason Woodley got any traction is because people want to see him beat Jake Paul. You know what I mean? Like, they were like cheering for him to beat. Like, I would say that no one knows who Woodley is outside of UFC. He's like, you know what I mean, a relative unknown.
Well, I'm just saying, for a big fight like Tyson Fury, in order for that fight to happen, he has to have a big draw on the other end too. And I just don't think that Francis is that big of a draw without the championship. I don't think he is. I
mean, and that could be. Look, I think that does have weight because if you're marketing a champ versus a champ, it's a lot easier. But I feel like just the fact that it's a different sport is why it's not going to matter because you're taking a guy from MMA to box. So I don't think it's going to matter that he doesn't hold the actual belt. Like Tyron didn't hold the belt, and at the time, Conor never defended any of his belts, but it was just his name that made the difference. And to the average fan, it's going to be another UFC guy versus a boxing guy in a boxing match. You know what I mean? And you can cut up highlight clips of Francis windmill knocking people out. You know what I mean? Like for marketing. I think it'll still sell. But here's the thing though. Like you said earlier, does the contract automatically extend if he defends, if he wins? Does it automatically defend, and then does it run into a snag with getting out of that UFC contract? Will he do a GSP thing and just retire and then take that fight? Or, like what will be other options? Because he wants to box.
Him retiring would be the worst option that he could do. Because the problem is with his contract, it does extend one more fight or within a year. So his best bet, if he just wants to take the boxing fight, if he does win, is to ride out his contract for a year. That would be his best bet. If he retires, the UFC has automatic claim to freeze the contract when you retire. So if they would freeze the contract and he still couldn't box.
So then I guess like there is a little bit of weird incentive then, because like if he loses, then he can just like straight up just go to boxing, like immediately. Right. And that's why it's weird because I look, he already has losses. It's not like he is undefeated. So like losing won't give him some like stigma that now he's beatable. He's already been shown to be beatable. You know what I mean? And that's So I think that if he did lose this fight against Cyril, which he can, I mean Cyril's legit, so he can definitely lose. Mm-hmm. That might be in his best interest because let's be honest here, like his whole fight right now with UFC is over money. Like he wants to get paid, and they don't get paid as much as you see the top boxers get paid. Like when Floyd fought Conor, we're talking about hundreds of millions of dollars. When Francis fought Stipe, we're talking about a couple mil, maybe at best.
I don't even think that much. I think they probably made $750,000 off that.
Well,
you know what I mean?
Pay-per-view points maybe added to it.
Let's say they made like $2 million each, right? If he were to fight Tyson Fury, I would say he clears easily 50, easily 20,
no, easily 50.
You know what I mean? Because it's a different thing. Like it's when you have with the boxing, it's like every boxer has their own promoter, like or they own their own promotion. So it's like it's different than fighting under a banner, and you're just like an athlete under that banner. Like I think that the amount of money he can stand, like Woodley versus fucking Paul, Woodley probably made more in that one fight where he got knocked out against Jake Paul than he made in his last 3 UFC fights.
Didn't they say he made more in the first fight as well?
Yes.
So in 2 fights versus Jake Paul, he probably doubled his career net worth, if not more. So that's
He
like,
made a lot more fighting Jake Paul than he did in the UFC.
so that's what I'm saying. Like for Francis, who gives a? He's already shown. He's already became champion at UFC. He doesn't have much to prove there. Who cares if he's prize fighting? Right? You're only doing it for the money. Why does it matter if he, loses and leaves the UFC if they're not willing to let him go to boxing to chase a bigger payday? Does that make sense?
I mean, I'm all for it. Let him go and let him fight his boxing match. I don't really care, to be honest. I'm just saying, in UFC's point of view, though, the problem with letting him go and doing that is then you're going to have everyone else asking to get the same type of reception. Everyone else is going to start asking for that. They're going to start demanding more money and more blah blah blah. And as a business aspect for the UFC, it is better to just keep your people close, because the simple fact of the matter is, even if Francis goes over there, he will make his biggest payday that he's ever made, but that's a one and done. Then after that fight, he better have enough to retire, which he probably will, because he ain't getting another fight in any other promotion.
I think Bellator would pick him up with the quickness if he's a free agent.
Bellator can't afford him. Bellator can't afford him.
Well, the sponsors and everything would work in his favor because he'd be able to have sponsors again.
He would, but he's sitting here trying to get
What you want to 30
crazy
million
boxing
a fight
money
or something? 30 million a fight?
Yeah, he wants $30 million a fight. Bellator ain't gonna pay him nowhere near $30 million a fight.
Hell,
even with sponsors, sponsors ain't gonna pay him $30 million a fight.
McGregor don't even make that much a fight, does he? What's it 5 to 10?
In the UFC, Conor McGregor usually makes about 5 to 10, and that's including his pay-per-view points. His actual fight purse is somewhere around
Is that Christmas?
I think 800,000.
Look who it was. Tell him he's gonna be on TV later.
He's like, is that a Christmas tree?
Yo, tell him he'll be on TV later.
For real.
The Poppins.
All right, so you going with Serial? You going with Francis? I'm gonna lean towards Serial just because I'm an advocate of hyping this man up from the first episode of our podcast till now. So I'm gonna just go with the guy that I've been backing for the whole year and some change. Even though I know it, one touch and it could be lights out for him, but I'm gonna go with the guy that we've been backing.
Me too.
Serial.
I'm going with Serial too. Been destroying his name all year. Well, for over a year now. And been hyping him up at the same time.
Bond Gaming.
He's my boy.
He plays games and shit. But honestly, the past few weeks we've been having some crazy announcements for fights coming up. You guys got anyone that you're excited to see?
As stupid as it sounds, I am excited to see the Zombie versus Volkanovski fight because I'm just a stupid Zombie fan, and I'll watch anything. And I think he got a bad stroke of luck when he fought Aldo with his dislocated shoulder and shit. So, do I think he'll win? Probably not. But do I want to see it? Yes.
The fight I'm excited to see is the Gilbert Burns against Chimaev fight.
Did that become official?
I think it's official. At least I'm hoping it's official. Because according to Chimaev, he's open to fight him in Brazil. I don't think they have a place or date yet, but I think that's supposed to be the next fight for Chimaev.
Yeah, I thought they were both saying that they're all good with it, but I don't know if it was ever actually announced.
I mean, we got the Derek Lewis against Tai Tuivasa coming up too.
That's gonna be a good fight.
Yeah. Wait, did Chimaev Burns? Is that official?
I'm hoping it is, but they've been having a lot of talk about it happening. I'm trying to see if they got an actual date for it, but not location yet.
The location.
So it's like no location, no date, but agreed. Fight signed.
Oh. We gotta
Oh,
find
I
when
didn't know
tickets
that.
go on sale for this Volkanovski versus Zombie fight. It's in
Why?
our backyard.
Where's it at? Orlando
Jacksonville.
or Tampa?
Jacksonville.
Oh, it's in Jacksonville.
Wait,
Oh, when they get it on sale?
Dude.
you said Volk versus Zombies in Jacksonville?
Yes. I did not know that. And
Hey,
Aljamain against
even
Peter
better.
Yan.
Oh yeah, we gotta go. We gotta
Mackenzie
go.
Dern against Tisha Torres. Yeah, we gotta go. We gotta go. Oh, Gaslam's fighting on there? And Jairzinho? Oh my goodness.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we
That's a
gotta
great
go.
card.
We gotta go.
We going.
We gotta go.
I'm going.
April 9th.
That's soon, so tickets should be going on sale soon.
Yep.
That should be a good one. Damn. Wait. When is? Excuse me. When is Lewis versus Tuivasa? Is that next?
That's a fight night, I believe, in Houston.
It's in Houston again? He's having another fight in Houston?
Yes.
Shit.
Man, there's only so many places they can go right now.
Oh, so it's only
In fact-
Houston, Vegas, and Dubai, and then the
It's not a fight night. It's February 12th. It's the rematch with Whitaker and Adesanya.
But that's in Houston, yeah. Yeah, the only places they can go right now are Arizona, Texas, Florida. The fact that they're having a fight in California is amazing.
Yeah, we definitely gonna have to try to get tickets to that April 9th pay-per-view.
Agreed. They'll probably go on sale, March?
I wonder what they're waiting for to make that fight official. If Chimaev and Gilbert Burns is actually fighting. I want to know. Somebody tell me.
Mm-hmm.
wait.
You know, I am kind of excited for Makachev versus Dariush, too.
That's coming up soon, isn't it?
That one is February, end of February. I guess there's a lot of hype for Covington versus Masvidal also in March.
Yes. Wait. Yeah, that should be really good. I thought about that a lot, and at first I was like, Kobe would just like take him down and wrestle him to sleep. But I think that might be a kickboxing match because Kobe likes his hand. He loves his hands. Like he likes his kickboxing ability, and I think they have a lot of reps together, right? Because they same gym, roommates.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure they've had a lot of a good bit of sparring. You know what? I'm thinking like this might be a good one for Masvidal. Now that I think about it, because I feel like he has a lot to prove, and I think he matches up well. Like as far as just the pure stand up. Now, obviously, I think Kobe's has ace in the hole with his wrestling, but if it's just a kickboxing match, I'm leaning Masvidal. If they just decide to stand up and trade, which I mean, when you got two former friends, you can see this become like an ego battle, and you know what I mean. Like guys might just like go in there and try to take each other out because it's gonna be a lot of shit talk leading up to that fight.
Have you seen any like the social media of the UFC with their promotion for it? It's like every video is them two like smacking each other on the back, high fiving, hugging. My best friend, blah blah blah. It's serious. Like they're going in on the promotion for this one.
It's a big fight. It's a big fight. It's a huge fight for that division.
It's the biggest fight that Kobe can get right now, and definitely the biggest fight that Masvidal can get right now.
Yeah, I think. Yeah,
but
both.
For Masvidal, it's a all-in type situation. I think.
Yeah, a loss for him will be devastating.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like with this match though, because Kobe's right there. He's basically in a situation where he's the Robert Whittaker of 170, where you got like a dominant champ and he's 1B. Because I feel like he matches up well versus the rest of the division, and he's beaten most of them, and he hasn't fought a couple of the guys in the top of that division, but he's given the champion a strong how many 10 rounds now?
10 rounds? 9.5? Rounds?
Well, yeah, 9 and some change because he got TKO'd in the final part of that fifth.
Yeah, the first fight.
Yeah, so I feel like for Kobe, this is huge, given that like if he walks through Masvidal, he's right back in the title picture again, and really, I wouldn't mind seeing him and Usman do a fucking best of 7 series, like basketball, basically. Like, let's see if we get the first. Who's the first to get the 4 wins?
Well, Usman gotta get past Leon Edwards next.
Is that fight booked?
According to Dana White, he said he's 100% next.
Okay. Yeah, they haven't booked it, so they probably don't know the logistics of it yet. But yet, that's the next fight.
I like it. I really hope so because I don't want to see Leon have that same like impact. Well, not impact, but that same fate that Tony suffered when he wasn't able to get a title shot after a long win streak. You know what I mean? Like you have that long win streak. Because first of all, look, it's fucking difficult to win one fight. It's difficult, and if you string together 6+ wins and you don't fight for the championship, you only get so many opportunities to fight for the title. And I feel like Tony was kind of robbed of that. I mean, health robbed him against Habib, and then situations robbed him from getting a title shot. But if anybody deserved one, it was Tony. And I don't want to see that happen to Leon because that kind of sucks for the pure fans. Like, I want to see the guys who've earned their way get a chance at gold, even though I know it's marketing and it's a business, and it's sometimes entertainment supersedes the guys who've earned it, because like they rather put in the flashy fight that's gonna make the company money as opposed to like this guy's earned his way. He's not boring, he's not flashy, he's not gonna sell tickets, but he deserves to be here. We've seen that happen to a lot of guys, like not a lot, but enough to where, like John Fitch was an example too. Like he would have this long win streak, but he's so fucking boring that no one cares.
He finally got one title shot though.
Oh yeah, with Johnny Hendricks.
No, Johnny Hendricks put him away. He fought GSP, but I think he lost.
He got pieced up.
I believe he lost.
He
I think
lost
got the
that
title
fight.
shot.
Didn't he get the title shot? Like, lost that fight, won 2 straight, then got cut?
I think he got cut after Johnny Hendricks punched him across the cage.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, 1, 2, and then got knocked the fuck out.
Yeah.
But he was still on like a good.
He was still winning.
He still had a winning record. That's what I'm saying. Like he still was. The thing about Hendricks was like he was super safe, so he had a lot of like decision wins where it's like, okay, you dominated the fight with wrestling, and in the middle of that, there's a lot of booing and shit, and that does. I think that does have an impact on the company because a lot of the times when they're sitting ringside and the fans are like booing and shit, like they can hear that, and I think that kind of weighs in. You know what I mean? Like they might say, okay, well, we booked this fucking guy, and like the people that paid to be here don't want to see that shit.
I mean, I think it has to be a balance between entertainment and integrity of the sport. I think some of the cuts they made back then were kind of shameful, like Yushin Okami and Finch was another one, where these were great fighters still at the top of their game and still very dominant in their divisions, just got cut because they were quote unquote boring. I mean, obviously Finch went on to have a good career in World Series of Fighting until he got his eyes gouged out, but I'm sorry, maybe that was Jake Shields that got his eyes gouged out.
Note to Brian, mute your mic when you blow your nose.
Yes, sir.
Bro, this sinus shit's kicking my ass right now.
Hey, mute the mic next time you go decide to blow your nose.
You can hear that from the other room.
Oh yeah, man, you blew hard.
I'm trying to compete with this. This is kicking my ass, bro.
Feel you. I feel you. Got some tissues right here.
Oh my god.
Then Miesha Tate got a fight coming up against Laura Murphy later on in the year. I think it was like March.
Yeah.
Was it
No, it's actually April 9th.
What? No.
That one's April 9th. The Volkanovski one, I think, is March 5th.
No, that's the Jorge and Kobe, because they pushed it back because Holloway got hurt. So they took the co-main event as well and moved it back one. I think
Okay.
They don't want Aljamain main eventing nothing.
Well, I don't think they're a big enough draw. I don't even see Jan as being the main event of a pay-per-view. Maybe a fight night.
Peter Yan?
Yeah.
I think he just needs some time before he gets out there.
I think they're great. I just don't think they have the same name recognition.
Dang. May 14th is when Miesha Tate's fighting Lauren Murphy.
Oh, May 14th.
They pushed that one back, way back there.
That should be an easy fight for Miesha Tate. Should be.
You never know.
Yeah, you never know.
But yeah, we got some good fights coming up in the distant future. Ooh. Hey, you guys got anybody that you think will be the new champion by the end of the year? Any end news?
I got well, I mean, I just said I think Figgie's gonna win. I think he'll be champion by the end of the year. And then
No, I'm not talking about nobody that's like fighting for a title currently, like their next fight. I'm talking about somebody that's on the rise right now that could possibly end up being champion by the end of the year.
You know what? I want to keep an eye out for Alex Pereira at middleweight because I feel like, I mean, he got a pretty quick knockout.
Oh, if he wins his next fight,
if he wins, like if he gets a notable if he gets a notable name at middleweight, and then knocks them out quickly, I think he'll get like launched into a title shot. Like if he gets, let's say he gets somebody like, let's say he gets like Costa or something for his next fight, and then he starches Costa, he's getting that fucking title shot.
Costa or like Vittori or something.
I don't think he'll get Vittori. Vittori's a little too far up the ladder. But if it's but the same result being the same, yes. If he gets Vittori and then KO, because Vittori's coming off a win and Costa lost his last fight, so Costa might be getting somebody, a little bit further down in the rankings.
Hey, who's Sean Strickland fighting?
He had Luke Rockhold fell out of their fight, right?
Yes.
No, he has another one matched up. I don't remember who it was though.
Is it Marvin? Or Darren Till?
It might be Vittori.
Darren Till's
no, I think it's
Uriah
Vittori. Hall? That's what I think the matchups are.
Wait, you said Strickland's getting Vittori?
Who's fighting Jack Hermanson? Is it Strickland?
That I don't know.
Oh, I think that is the fight. I think it is Hermanson Strickland.
Oh.
I know Hermanson just wrestled, right? Or just did a grappling match.
He is fighting Strickland February 5th.
Okay. So that's soon. That's next month. So I mean, yeah. I feel like if Alex Pereira can get a notable name, because the thing is, like, if he's knocking guys out like he and quickly like he can get 2 fights this year, potentially even 3. You know what I mean? Because when's Whitaker Adesanya?
The 12th of February.
February 12th? Okay. So that'll give time for, I mean, if say Pereira gets, 2 fights, he can maybe get a year-end card, like a December card, and he can challenge whoever the middleweight champion is, assuming it's Izzy, challenge him for the title. I would say especially if the champion's Izzy and Alex gets 2 quick knockouts over notable names, he's getting that title shot. Because that's like, I think the reason why he was bought into UFC is because, like, I mean, he has that storyline. I mean, he beat Izzy twice, knocked him out.
If Izzy gets past Whitaker, he'll fight the winner of Cannonier and Brunson. Right. That's already been like determined. Okay.
And then look, if you just given the skill set, I don't want to do MMA math, and I don't want to overlook these guys, but let's just say, like, I feel like I'll just say that Izzy would be a favorite versus all those guys. He'll be a favorite versus either one of. I mean, he already beat Brunson, and I think he'll be a favorite against Cannonier. And I think
blonde hair Brunson.
I think he beats Bobby Knuckles again too.
Blonde hair Brunson though.
I don't think it's gonna matter, bro.
That boy's Super Saiyan now, bro.
He's improved for sure. Like, he's definitely better.
He's only level 1 Super Saiyan.
I think he's better, but I don't think it's gonna matter.
He hasn't reached the next level yet to get Super Saiyan 2.
Well, here's the thing though. He could beat Cannonier though.
Yeah, that's gonna be a great fight. We're gonna see a lot of MMA in that fight. That's the best way I can put it.
Yeah, but Cannonier is dangerous. I think what Whitaker did to him is a bit of an anomaly because he's dangerous middleweight. I just think that he's so.
Who did he last fight besides him?
I think Calvin, right?
Yeah, Kelvin. Yeah, he fought Kelvin.
He won a fight. He won after the Whitaker fight.
Yeah. He's only fought twice.
Whitaker schooled him, and then he beat someone.
It was a good matchup, though. It was 3 rounds, right? It was only 3 rounds in that fight.
But was it Kelvin?
No, he lost to Whitaker. Then I think he fought Kelvin after that and won that fight.
Yeah, I'm talking about Till.
No, we're talking about Jerry
Cannonier. Okay.
Yeah. Like, who did he fight most recently?
It was Gastelum. He beat Gastelum.
Yeah. Okay. And I'm thinking, like, like he is, and like, I mean, he came from heavyweight all the way to fucking middleweight, and he was a pretty big guy, and now he's like super in shape and focused. But I think just the tool shed of skills, you can tell that in that fight against Whitaker, that Whitaker was just a better striker. He was more crisp, more like he had more tools to pull from. And Jared's a horsepower guy. You know what I mean? Like he'll knock you out with a straight right hand, but he's not that technical. He's not like this like tactician as far as his pure kickboxing technique. So I feel like against Brunson, he's been turning it up and using his wrestling more, and that makes him a much more dangerous fighter. Because Brunson got legit knockout power. Like, he can knock you out with that left hand. He can hurt people pretty easily. His only issue was leaving his fucking chin way in the air.
I think they fixed that though.
That's what I'm saying. That was his only real thing. Like, that was the only thing that made him like a non-title contender. He can always be clipped because he leaves that chin up.
See, when he was throwing those punches, it looked like he smelt something funny. You know what I mean? So he had that chin way up there. You know what I'm saying? Like he smelt something funny every time. That's why he had that chin way up there. They fixed it though.
Facts, and that's why I think that him adding in like being more dominant and being more active with his wrestling, that makes him just more dangerous. So I think that even though Blonde Brunson, if I want to go there, I think that makes him like a more formidable fighter, but not. I don't think it takes him over the top to be champion. I think he'll just get in line again. He'll get a shot again, but I see it being very, very similar outcome, based off of just the champion is getting better too. Like he's not like, you know what I mean? Like one thing about Izzy that I give him credit for is he puts in the work. He's not just a guy that's like rest on what he did already. Like you can see the improvement from fight to fight. And if you watch him and listen to him doing the breakdowns of other fighters, he's constantly like trying to evolve and get better. So I feel like as far as striking is concerned, like everybody, he has such an edge on most of the guys he's going to go against in middleweight, except for Alex. And that's why I think Alex is the only guy that could unseat him at middleweight this year, if it's possible for him to get up there.
I don't know.
This year's that's a bit of a stretch, though.
That's a stretch,
up, man.
What's up?
The Whitaker fight, man. I don't know.
I think Whitaker can take it.
I don't see it. I guess I don't have a bias there. I'm a fan of Robert Whitaker's for sure. I just don't see it. I don't see the pure matchup wise. I don't see a win for Whitaker. Even if he doesn't come in wild and he tries to play the tactical game, I just think he gets out tactic. Like
I will say this: it won't be a quick one-sided victory. I think this one's going to decision.
Okay, I can see that. I can see that.
I say Rob Whitaker knocks him out or TKOs him.
Ooh, wait.
Wow.
I say Robert Whitaker comes in with a better game plan. He's not going to do the same shit, and I think he smothers him and takes over.
Okay.
I honestly do. I think ground and pound TKO.
Save that for February, first week of February sometime.
It might change by then, but I doubt it.
Mark said, "I'm feeling this. I'm feeling this way right now. I'm feeling like
yeah.
Drinking. What are you drinking, Mark? What you sipping on,
bro? Some orange blossom beer.
Oh, a little OBP.
Yeah.
Mark down.
My last OBP one from Arizona.
Yeah, you know me. I feel it. Look,
but
I'm holding out. I'll hold the go in depth with the matchup till that time, but I just don't see it. There's like I said, it's matchup based. Everything to me is matchup based. Like individual versus individual and their skill sets versus each other's. Rob is just always gonna be, to me, he's always 1B in my mind. He's the man. He's like he's a sub boss. As long as Izzy's in that division, he's a sub boss. Unless Izzy moves up to 205, he's just sub boss. He's like where Gustafsson was for a while with Jones, and like you know what I mean? Like he's just always gonna be 1B. Like that guy's just better.
The only thing, the thing about the matchup between Whitaker and Adesanya is the only advantage I see that Adesanya really has is honestly his reach. If he didn't have that reach, I think yes, his striking slightly better, but I don't think he would do nearly as good against Whitaker. Whitaker just has to figure out how to get into that reach, and then he's done. Now, is that an easy feat? No, not at all. But if he can get in there, if he can figure out how to get in there the way that Gaslam got in there, he can do a lot more than Gaslam did. But just don't do it like he did last time.
Well, that's what makes me feel this way. Is because like I know that's the strategy, that's the whole game plan is to try to close the distance and try to then inflict damage from there. But it's not like Izzy doesn't understand that. He understands that fully, and he's able to counter those guys that try to do that. Now, Calvin, look, that night when he had that fight with Calvin, well, Calvin was on. I don't know what he was on, bro. He was on a different level because they beat the fuck out of each other for 5 rounds. And then Kelvin's body finally gave out at the end, but that was something else. That fight was something else. And I think that like, look, Kelvin has never been the same since then, bro. If you think about it, like look at his past results after that. Like it's been rough for him.
I mean, we say it's been rough, but he's only lost to the best of the best.
Yeah,
but he's been piling up a lot of L's though. It's not like he
has.
I agree. Like he's only fighting top comp, and once you make it to the title shot, that's all you're getting. You're not going dipping back to the bottom 15. Everybody you're fighting is either on their way up or on their way down from the very top. So like that's what Calvin's running into. He's running into all the top tier, all the best of the best at middleweight. So I don't blame him for what's going on. I'm just saying that those wars can take something from you when you go through those long wars. And I think that like psychologically, when you lose those long wars, those long or those crazy ass beatdowns, it takes a little bit more from you. So it's like I love Whitaker, and he's after the loss to Izzy, he looked good. Like everybody he's matched up with since, he's looked fucking phenomenal. So I can't take that away that he's like not worthy of being there at all. Not even a little bit.
Yeah.
You guys ready to call it?
Hey man, shoot the J.
No last words, nothing. I got nothing.
My only last word. Go ahead, Mark.
I was just gonna say, if you want to go for future champs, I think Benny can do it by the end of the year.
Oh, but Dariush,
yeah.
Okay.
I think he can. I think he ekes out a win on Islam, and then I actually like him in a matchup between either Gaethje or Oliveira. So I'll take that. Those are big words, but I'll take it.
You know what? The more I think about it, I don't really see anyone coming up this year exactly to unseat a current champion that's not already a title fight. I don't see anybody. But I will say this as a final thought. I'll pose this question at least. Who's gonna make which fighter do you think is gonna make a push this year to get themselves in a title contention? Who do you think will make, like, who this year will win 2 or 3 fights and then they'll be the guy to talk about in 2023? Who's that guy? Chimaev? Hamzat? Oh yeah. For 170, I see that.
I say he wins his next fight if he does get that Burns fight official, and if he wins that, then Chimaev's probably getting a title shot right after.
It only makes sense.
You know what? I'm gonna say Terrence McKinney. I think he's gonna go on a run this year. I think he'll win if he gets. I think he'll win every fight that gets booked this year.
Johnny Walker next.
I don't feel it on him.
Wait, what?
Terrence,
Are you asking?
No. Who's he fighting next?
When you say he, you mean
McKinney.
Johnny Walker. Oh.
No way he's fighting Johnny Walker. McKinney's.
I'm thinking Jamal Hill. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, you think Jamal Hill.
Jamal Hill. I'm thinking Jamal Hill.
I think McKinney's a 55er.
Is he?
Yeah, I think he's a 55er.
He could win some and work his way up, though.
What's up?
If he wins a few, he will work his way into a title. Not this year, though. I don't think.
No. I'm saying that like by the end of this year, going into 2023, he's gonna be among the contenders. Like he'll be in a spot where Kattar is now. Like you know how Kattar and Ortega and they're all in that cluster of like getting ready to fight for the 45 strap, while Volk's the champion and Max is the obvious like sub boss.
Yep.
He'll be in that cluster with Kattar and all those boys. Whereas right now he's just a prospect. I think if he has I think he'll win every fight he gets booked this year, and I think he'll do it impressively. Because I feel like he can be champion. He can be a guy that can contend for this division, and obviously 155 is there's a lot of talent, so it's a deep pool. But on that note, though,
I'll go one under you. I'll go with Bryce Mitchell will win, and he'll be in the talks.
Thug Nasty.
Okay.
Thug Nasty.
He got a fight coming
He's going to wrap his way to the top.
I forgot who he's fighting, but he got one coming up.
He is fighting... I think they have one announced for him.
Mark, is he also a 55er?
No, he's a 45er.
45er? So this man's dropping 45ers and mixtapes?
Yes.
Okay. Man,
he's choking them out.
Dropping bars and dropping bombs. I love it. Here for it.
Well, then, on that note, you guys ready?
Zip it up and zip it out.
Zip it up
zip
and
it up.
zip it up.
Let's get it.
Zip it up and zip it up.
Zip it out.
Zip it up and zip it out.
Get it up, dicks, and then get it up the rest of the way.
Zip it up, zip it up. What? All right, guys. Zip it up and zip it out. Peace.
Peace.